Hello, and welcome to beautiful Stambaugh Auditorium in Youngstown, Ohio. My name is Marian Vogel, and I am here today to be your host and your soprano in this musical adventure as we go through various heroines of the operatic stage and a few other little treats along the way. Joining me today at the keys is Maestro Ben Malkevitch, and we are here in this beautiful auditorium seating around 2,600 audience members. It's an absolute joy to sing in, and the acoustics are fantastic. It was built in 1926 through the generosity of Henry H. Stambaugh and has stood as a monument here in Youngstown, hosting various performers throughout the decades, singers, dancers, orchestral groups, and many, many other entertainments and educational venues. Also, as a resident company here, Opera Western Reserve has made its home since 2004. There have been various operas performed here, of which I have performed in several and enjoyed every moment. The founding directors were Susan Devaney-Weiner, who is the conductor and musical director, and the founding stage director of David Vosburgh. The first song that I would like to perform on this concert comes from an operetta written by Victor Herbert. It's titled The Enchantress. It had its New York City premiere in 1911, and it had a rather short run, not particularly famous or particularly done. However, this one jewel has remained as a constant and is often performed by sopranos. Its nickname is the Prima Donna Song, but its usual and true name is Art is Calling for Me.
Mama is a queen and Papa is a king, so I am a princess, I know it. But court etiquette is a dull, dreary thing. I just hate it all, and I show it. To sing on the stage, that's the one life for me. My figure's just like Tetrazzini. I know I would fail if I sang in Bohème that opera by Signor Puccini. I've roulottes and not rails that could stand the cold chairs down the backs of the heroes of my vocal phrase. I long to be a prima donna, donna, donna. I long to shine upon the stage. I have the embonpoint to become a queen of song, and my figure would look pretty as a page. I want to be a screechy, peachy, good treaty, like other ladies that I see. I hate society, I hate propriety. Art is calling for me. I'm in the elite, and men sigh at my feet. Still, I do not fancy my position. I have not much use for the men that I meet. I quite burn with lyric ambition. Those tenors so sweet, if they made love to me, I'd be a success, that I do know. And maybe I'd oust if I once sang in Faust that opera so charming by Brno. Girls would be on the brink of his
This aria takes place in Act 4 of the opera Le Nozze di Figaro, or The Marriage of Figaro. The Marriage of Figaro was written in 1786 and is set in the 17th century Seville area. And this aria in particular takes place in Act 4. It is on the grounds at night in the garden of Count Almaviva. Now, of course, if the opera is called The Marriage of Figaro, he must be marrying someone, and that someone is the character that I sing, named Susanna. Susanna is a wonderful character to sing, and one that I've sung several times, including once right here at Stambaugh Auditorium with Opera Western Reserve. She's a very quick-witted, smart, and warm character, and she breaks down certain barriers in her friendship with her mistress, the Countess. In this moment in Act 4, she is disguised as the Countess, and she's in an intrigue to fool both the Count and Figaro, her betrothed. She is masquerading as the Countess as she realizes Figaro is watching. He doesn't know that she knows this, of course, because that's the way with Mozart operas. There's always somebody who doesn't know what's happening and somebody that does. In this case, Susanna knows what's going on, and she sings this beautiful aria, which is somewhat elegant and refined as she's trying to imitate the style of the Countess. And she is just the servant girl. But she does that in her own way, in a teasing and a cunning way, so that Figaro might be perked and a little bit intrigued by what's going on. This aria is called De vieni non tardar, in which she talks about that the night should come and give this beautiful evening what it has in store.
Uscite dal mio
one of the most beloved operas of all time is Puccini's La Bohème. It's probably performed more than almost any other opera worldwide, and I've had the privilege to sing it twice, actually, on this stage here with Opera Western Reserve. Once, the first time, as Musetta, and the second time as Mimi. The opera takes place in 1830s Paris. It was written in 1896, and it tells the beautiful story of the Bohemian cast of characters, the poet, the seamstress, the artist, all of these working poor in Paris at that time and their Bohemian lifestyle. Mimi, in particular, my beloved character, is one who's just so much fun to unpack as you sing this role. She comes on the scene at the beginning and she has lost her candle. The light has gone out and she's come to the door to see Rodolfo and ask for a light. Well, he's captivated by her and she is very shy and demure, but inside she has this passion, this spark. And I think of all the bits of the opera, this first aria that she sings to Rodolfo really explains her. It's titled Mi chiamano Mimi, which means I'm called Mimi. So she's introducing herself, telling a little bit about herself throughout the aria. Strangely, right at the beginning she says, but my name is Lucia. So I always think that's kind of funny. The whole thing is about Mimi and Rodolfo, and her real name isn't even Mimi, but that's okay. Then as the aria continues, she tells about what she does. She's an embroiderer, a seamstress, and she loves to make flowers, lilies, roses, but alas, they have no fragrance. And as she unfolds, she sort of warms up to the story and lets a little bit more of her passionate side come forth as she talks about waiting for that first sun of the springtime, and that the first light of the sun in April is hers. And then she kind of catches herself a little bit and says, well, you know, I live here by myself in my little white room. And she also says, I don't always go to Mass, but I always pray to God. And so she's really telling all about her character just in one quick aria. And as it has unfolded, it kind of folds back at the end. And she comes back to her demure self and says that I'm just your neighbor who has come at an untimely time to interrupt you. The opera Tosca by Puccini is one of the most heartbreaking, dramatic, and passionate of any of the operatic literature. I also had the privilege to perform the role of Tosca in Tosca at this stage as well with Opera Western Reserve some years back. It's a wild ride for Tosca. She is the big personality. In the opera, she is a diva, an operatic diva, which really works out well for the soprano singing it because you have to sort of be what we might kind of be called anyway. And unlike Mimi, she is not demure in any way, but she is deep, just like Mimi is, and she's very smart and warm, just like Susanna is. They all have this strength, and perhaps the most so Tosca. It's a very complicated story, as I'm sure you all recognize, and at this point, the diva has come to the point at which her beloved Mario Cavaradossi is being detained by the secret police, and Scarpia has left her with the choice to either succumb to his advances or Mario will die. So at this moment, she's left alone to think it over and decide for herself. So this very poignant aria occurs. She's all alone, sorting things out, and she sings Vissi d'arte, Vissi d'amore. I lived for art. I lived for love. And she goes into this talk about how she had prayed to God. She had given money for the altar of the Madonna. She'd given jewels. She'd offered her songs to heaven. And now she's mad with God. And she says, why? Why is it now when I need you that you've let me down? Where are you? And so it's a very passionate prayer almost, in a way, as she makes her choice of what to do in this opera. Vissi d'arte. Well, I hope you've had as much fun as I have had on this musical adventure today. I'd like to thank Opera Western Reserve and Stambaugh Auditorium for this wonderful venue, and also our wonderful pianist today, Ben Malkevitch. Our final song might relate to you if any of you have been perhaps a beginning artist, a beginning singer, instrumentalist, or any other type of career that you kind of had to start and work your way up. Maybe you too have had that certain small apartment that you were very excited about, and then maybe it just wasn't quite as quiet and peaceful as you thought. So for all of you who share that experience, here's a great song for you called The Girl in 14G.
Just moved in to 14G, so cozy, calm, and peaceful. Heaven for a mouse like me, with quiet by the leaseful. Pets are banned, parties too, and no solicitations. Window seat with garden view, a perfect nook to read a book. I'm lost in my Jane Austen when I hear say it isn't so, not the flat below. From an opera wannabe in 13G, a matinee of some cantata, Wagner's ringing Traviata. My first night in 14G, I'll put up with Puccini, brew myself a cup of tea, crochet until she's feeding. 8:30, not a peep, except the clock tick-tocking. Now I lay me down to sleep, a comfy bed to rest my head, a stretch, a yawn, I'm almost gone when zoot-dee-da, doos-dee-da, doos-dee-dee, boy, doy-dee-da, na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na, whee! Now the girl upstairs wakes me unawares, blowing down from 15G, her reveille. She's scatting like her name is Ella. Guess who answers a cappella? Zoot-doo-doo-fly-doy, oh, zoot-doo-doo-fly-doy, oh. I'm not one to raise my voice, make a fuss, or speak my mind, but might I query, would you mind if, could you kindly stop? That felt good. Stop. 13, 15, 14G, a most unlikely trio. Now Thank you.